There we are, let's try that again. Good evening everybody, welcome to Friday night as Organ Music Night. For some reason my microphone receiver was not receiving, but now it is. Now it is. Right, let me go back here for a minute. Hello everybody, welcome to Friday night is Organ Music Night, and thank you for joining us in the old chit chat. I will be saying hello to you all very shortly. A very, very quick thank you, however, to our friend Jim. Was it Jim? It was Jim, our friend Jim and his castagnettes. Jim Castagnette, who was very, very generous there at the beginning of this evening's concert. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Right, where are we this evening? We're at an organ we haven't visited for an awfully long time. Over to Marek. Marek, can you help me with this? This is the Polish... Is it a place called Święta Lipka, or is it the church that's called that? I honestly don't know. I've never really known. So, yeah, let me know. But it's an absolutely deliciously gorgeous place. Now, looking at that picture there, look at that, isn't that gorgeous? That's so over the top. Baroque, basically, isn't it? But the organ is nothing like any Baroque organ. It's the most romantic organ you can imagine. It's absolutely beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at all that. Now, there are some fun things here. Watch this. Watch the middle there. I'm going to... see that? Look, that thing there. There you are. That moves, and it's a very visual organ. Look at the angels here. The angels are leaning forwards and sort of saying, "Oi, look, I'm here," which is rather exciting. There are fanfare trumpets. Check these guys out here on the top of the positive. They actually do this on the real organ. Let me quickly put some trumpets on, and we'll go back to that again. Check that out. Check that out. Isn't that great? That's really good fun. There's a Cymbelstern. Check these guys out here, up there. That's the fans going, if you like, the propellers. Little bells for Christmas time. And look at this, actual little angels ringing sleigh bells at you. And yeah, you really need to play sort of you really need to do all that kind of stuff. It's a crazy instrument. It looks so Baroque, but it's not. It's an organ with a wonderful sense of humor. And there's even... You can't see it. I don't think you can see it at the facade, but there's a nightingale. How cool is that? I don't think you can see the nightingale, but anyway, it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is what the console looks like. It's a lovely, lovely pastel color little thing here. The yellow stops are your pedal stops. Whoa, lovely. The pink stops are your great. And the blue stops are your swell. It's absolutely beautiful. And if you check this out down here, Mr. Goebel made this organ from Königsberg. And of course, Königsberg, well, if you're into your European history, you know where Königsberg used to be. And now, what's Königsberg now? Does anyone know what Königsberg is called now? It's not called Königsberg anymore. Königsberg is, by the way, the place where the very, very famous dish comes from, Königsberger Klopse, which is basically like meatballs in a beautiful sort of creamy caper sauce. It's gorgeous. Königsberger Klopse, if you can find them. Absolutely wonderful. There you are, Marek. Marek knows this. I think Marek's been there many, many times. The Nightingale does not have any visible moving artifacts on the case. Yeah, but it's gorgeous. Pipework is from 1905 by Bruno Goebel from Königsberg, one of less than 100 surviving Goebel organs in the world. And oh my God, it needs to survive. It's absolutely beautiful. It's delicious, isn't it? Now, it really is delicious. Let me show, and we're going to do a quick check out of the stops. We haven't done this for so long. Is this my pedal? Yeah, got it right first time. Got it right first time. Now this organ, this is like a slightly larger version of my organ in Herschbach. It's the same kind of period. This is 1905, is that right? Something like that, early 20th century. And my organ in Hirschbach is 1915, and it's got all the goodies as well. Now we've got some very soft stops here, an Aeolin and an Undermaris. That's your strings. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love that. Now it even comes with a super octave coupler, which really goes to town now. And the most important part of that is, it's actually built out. And normally an octave coupler would stop working at the top note of the normal octave, but they've actually added an extra octave of notes to that to give you this beautiful shimmering sound up there. Absolutely beautiful. Lots of fluty stops, lots of 8-foots. A flauto amabile, a love flute. They even have a loving principle. Isn't that gorgeous? Now there's a normal flute as well. Gorgeous. All of those 8-foots together so far are just delicious. This is just the swell. And of course I can then close the swell box down. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now there's something that's almost Baroque sounding, a quintadena. And the most amazing tremulant. Isn't that gorgeous? Such a lovely, lovely sound. Such a simple little sound. Now, there's not much else on the swell department. So we've got a 16-foot bourdon, all these 8-foots. Let's leave out the quintadena just now. I suppose we could add that. We don't need it. One 4-foot stop, a 4-foot principal. A terz, which nobody would ever use. A 4-rank mixture. And a trumpet. That's just the swell. I love that. Now down on the grate, we've got all sorts of goodies. Over on the left side here, we've got all the sort of the normal stuff. Here on the right, we've got some fun stuff. We have a soft solutional. We have a Gemshorn, which is gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? It's just a gorgeous, like a very soft principle. Both of those together make a lovely sound. Now this thing, a Schalmei, this is not. This is not a reed stop. This is a very sharp sounding stringy thing. Now all 3 of those colourful chaps there make a gorgeous sound. Back over here we do have a proper principle, which is so big it would plaster the walls. It's huge. There's a 4-foot octave, which is a principle to go with that. There's no 2-foot principle, there's a 2-foot piccolo, so a flute. A huge mixture. An even higher mixture called a cymbal, which is is a million miles away, both of those. You've already heard the reeds, the trumpet 16 and 8. Let me quickly get rid of that. And they are brilliantly loud, aren't they? The trumpet on its own, 8 foot. That's amazing. The 16-foot trumpet is even bigger. Both the trumpets, both the mixtures. Full, great. Actually, there's this thing here called a cornet, which is not very French, but sounds lovely nonetheless. It's a big sound, a really, really big sound. Down at the pedals, we've got all the goodies you'd expect. A sub bass. Oh, check out my orange socks. That's a very soft sound. Even softer is this thing called the salicette, which is like a very soft string. It goes rather well with this chap, that one. Gorgeous. A big violin, which I suppose would work with all three of those. That's it on its own, sorry. And the biggest principle you've ever heard. Now, as usual in an organ of this size, there is no true 32-foot stop. There is a 10 2/3, so if you like, an acoustic 32-foot. And it's very, very, very effective. I think you will agree. Very effective. On its own, it's sounding a fifth. So when that note there is a C, well, there you are, there's a C, yeah? Holding down the same note, it sounds a G above that, a fifth above, perfect fifth above. And if you mix the two of them together, you get that acoustic effect of the resultant bass. They sort of add each other, they add up, the frequencies, they add up, and the result is, it sounds like the octave lower. So if you really get all the 16 foots together, it gives a really nice rumbly 32-foot effect. There are two reeds down here. Hold on. That doesn't sound like a normal pedal reed. It's not. It's a free reed. It's like a harmonium reed, a fagotto. So it's supposed to be like a bassoon. Now, is it the same one? Yeah, it's the same one that's here on the grate. It's a free reed. What does a free reed mean? It's like a harmonium, or an accordion, if you like. Then there is the posauna 16. Which is pretty tasty, pretty big. The whole thing, let's add it all up together. I'm going to see if I can memorize a piece of music that I played years ago. Can I play this by memory? I'm not sure. Let me see if I can play it by memory. Karg Ehler, sollt ich meinem Gott nicht. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Something like that. Anyway, you might recognize it. How does the end go? I can't remember how the end goes. Hold on. Bear with me. Big chords. What's this one? And then, no. Where does it go? It goes somewhere else. I can't remember. Where does it go from there? That's it. That's it. If in doubt, close your eyes and you'll remember where it goes from. I used to learn music blind. I had a blind teacher for a while, and he taught me to learn in the dark. It sounded kind of kinky, but no, there was nothing like that. But learn music in the dark, just by feel. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, this is the kind of music that works perfectly on it. It's a surprisingly small instrument, yeah? There's not, oh, sorry, wrong one. Surprisingly small instrument, but it's got the biggest, punchiest, most gorgeous sound. But, as you heard at the beginning, it can also do really gorgeous stuff. Now, for our friend French Horn, I'm playing this organ tonight because French Horn sent me a video of somebody else playing this organ, and he thought, what a weird sound. What a weird sound. And the weird sound that we were listening to in that video was this. It was this thing, a Krummhorn. Now, does that also sound like? That sounds a bit like a harmonium reed as well, as does this. Now, that's not actually a reed at all. It's called, can you read that? A labial, a labial, a labial. A labial clarinette. And it's not actually a clarinet, but it's a flu stop, so like a flute stop, but tuned and voiced to sound a bit like a clarinet. With some imagination it might. But these guys are amazing. This is the Krummhorn. A free reed, a harmonium reed. And if you add the crazy tremulant to it, and I suspect if you add the cornet to that as well, you do get the most just bizarre sound. Actually, no, hold on. Let's do that, that, and that. Check this out. Isn't that gorgeous sound? There's something delicious about it. Now, once again, we've got one of these little funny... There's the swell working. If I add the tremulant, swell doesn't work anymore. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? That's a bug within Hauptwerk or something like that. Alessandria does that as well for some reason. Need to speak to Piotr about it. It's probably an update that I haven't seen. Oh, I'm dropping wine all over the place. A dry Riesling tonight to go with a lovely, plummy, fruity Riesling style organ. Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it gorgeous? Now here's the fun bit about it. If I check my little list of goodies here. What's that? What the hell is that? Do you know? I don't know. Here's some registrations. I don't know what they are. I have no idea what those registrations are. I haven't played this organ for so long. God, I have no idea what those registrations are supposed to be. I'm actually looking for some jazzy registrations, which I don't have, but these will do. These are fun registrations to play a jazzy tune. It works beautifully. This thing can bop along like hardly any other organ you've heard. This is so good. It really is. What shall we have tonight? Let's have a piece of music by... ain't misbehaving, giving the old Sveta Lipka treatment there. I've no idea if I'm pronouncing that word right. Marek, is that even vaguely correct? I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce it, but isn't this a wonderful instrument? It can do it all. I worked up what these registrations are now. It says Dubois Toccata at the top. Shall we try that from memory? How does that bit go? My memory's not working tonight. Hold on. I'll leave the microphone on so I can think. That's it. Got the first one wrong. Something like that. Something like that. I haven't played that for a long time, and I don't think I've played it without the music for even longer than that. Those are the days when I could memorize music. What else have I got in here? Registration. I love looking at this, but when I get a new organ for Hauptwerk and I like it, I put lots of registrations in. I've got the Gigoux toccata in here as well. Shall we try that? Right, hold on. Okay, so there's nothing there. That's a bit stupid. That's I played this recently, didn't I? That's that. That's and that's. Okay, right. Let's give this a go. This could be interesting. The Gigoux toccata from memory on an organ I haven't played for years. I'll keep the microphone on so I can talk to you. This is the bit I can't remember. Nice pedal, eh? Open the swell box. The French police cars. Nino, Nino. Here's the melody between the hands and the pedals. Legato, please. Cheat. Fast, man. Full organ. Click. Yeah. Sometimes the fingers remember these things, sometimes they don't. Interesting comments there. What was that, Dawn? I can imagine sheet music is not much of a help with pieces like this. That's not true, actually, because your hands are in one position for most of the time. They don't move around that much, yeah? There's not much moving around of the hands. So it's actually very easy to concentrate on the music. With that kind of stuff. The dubois, there's more jumping around there. That's less easy to concentrate on the music with that kind of thing. Right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's program is called That's Life, and the whole point of tonight's program is, believe it or not, I was doing some research the other day back into my life, my past, and would you believe September 1980 is when things started officially for me in the music world at the age of 7. That's 45 years ago. I'm celebrating my 45th anniversary in the music world. Can you believe that? And it just dawned on me the other day. I was talking to someone about my musical past and what I used to do and blah blah blah. And someone was saying, when did it all start? Well, it started in earnest when I was 7. I was playing a bit of piano before that already, but it started in earnest at the age of 7. And yeah, that's 45 years ago now. Oh my God. 45 years ago. What was happening 45 years ago? That was 1980. How many of you were around 45 years ago? There we are. Marek was born that year. that means Marek is now 45, assuming his birthday hasn't been. It has been, hasn't it, already? Yeah, isn't that crazy? 45. Now, my wife, Vanessa, in 1980, she was -10. She was only born in 1990. 1990 is the year I went off to university. At the age of 17, I left home to go to university. At the age of 17. Now, the 10 years in between, I had been getting piano lessons, I'd been getting organ lessons, I joined the cathedral choir in Inverness as a youngster, and I was getting organ lessons at the cathedral in Inverness, and messing about with music and things like that. At that age, at that time of my life, believe it or not, and anyone who knows me personally nowadays would go, for heaven's sake, wouldn't understand. I wasn't interested in anything other than music back in those days. I wasn't even interested in girls in those days. I wasn't interested in anything other than music. I hadn't sort of really gotten to know the world of young ladies. Now, when I went to university in 1990, studying music at the University of Edinburgh back then, as a young male, I was something of an anomaly in the music department. First of all, I was one of the only guys in my year who was interested in girls, if you know what I mean. So that put me at a huge advantage. And I went off to university, and I didn't just discover about, life and things like that. I discovered the fairer sex. And that was the beginning of well, never mind. That was all the fun of it, if you know what I mean. And so I went to university and suddenly decided there was more to life than just music. And off I went doing all sorts of other things. Now, funnily enough, during my university days, although organ was my main instrument, I didn't play much organ. I did have a position as an organist in an Edinburgh church. A very nice church. We put a nice organ in there. The organ that was in there before was an old Hammond organ, which the church got rid of. And we put in a very nice 2-manual pipe organ that we got from a church in Scarborough that was closing down. We went down to Scarborough and picked up this organ. Well, had it picked up by an organ builder and installed in my church in Edinburgh. And it was lovely. It was a beautiful instrument. It was voiced very, very beautifully. Absolutely grand stuff. And I really enjoyed playing there for a long time. My organ teacher at the time, a guy named Tom Lane Riley, who was a wonderful, wonderful organist and an absolutely wonderful guy. He himself was a pupil of Jean Langlais from France, from Paris. He studied in Paris with Langlais, and he was my organ teacher for a while. And I used to get him involved in playing at this church in Edinburgh as well. And I resurrected a choir, believe it or not. We got a choir going again, and Tom would come and accompany us while we were doing some stuff. And we wanted to do some lovely French stuff in the church. But the choir wasn't quite good enough yet. Now, when I then left, I disappeared off, I buggered off, and did other things for some considerable time. I left the world of university for a while because I thought, what's the point? I'm enjoying myself doing other things. And I went off and found, gainful employment in various different places around the world. And also played a lot of music with a lot of interesting people, none of which had to do with church music. This was all jazz, rock and roll, blues, and all that kind of stuff. And I had a whale of a time doing that for a while. Realizing the foolishness of my ways, at the end of the 90s, I went back to university to finish my degree. They very kindly let me come back. I did the final 2 years and graduated in 1998. 1998. In the year 2000, I moved. I left the United Kingdom for good and came over to live here in sunny Germany, and I've been here ever since. That's 25 years now. So 25 years of my musical career. That's most of my musical career. If you imagine, the first 20 years were from 7 to 27 were in the United Kingdom, and now from 27 to 52 that I currently am, I've been doing it here. I've spent more time sort of active music time here in Germany than I did in my home country of the United Kingdom. Can you believe that? Absolutely crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. Ian, what church? Which church? I had 2 church positions in Edinburgh. I was in St Michael and All Saints in Tollcross. Lovely little Anglican church. It was very, 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 very high Anglican church. Bells and smells, all that kind of stuff. It was more Catholic than a Catholic church could ever dream of being. It was an Anglican church. Very bizarre place. Lovely, lovely little church. Very small church, but a very, very active church. And next to the church was a pub. The old vicarage turned into a pub. So after every church service, and sometimes between church services on a Sunday, we would just spend all our time in the pub. It was great. Typical Anglican church, eh? Absolutely wonderful stuff. And then later, when I went back to Edinburgh again, I was in, what was it called? Holy Corner. A part of Edinburgh is called Holy Corner. It's a junction, a big junction, and on each 4 corners of that junction are 4 different churches, and they're all of different denominations, different flavours. One of them was an Anglican one, and that was the one where I was the organist. Is it All Saints? Was that what it was called? St Michael and All Saints? What was it called? Was it called All Saints? I can't remember. Ian, what's the Anglican church at Holy Corner called? I can't remember. Isn't that weird? Anyway, I can't remember. I was there for a long time. Had the choir and it was a nice little organ. It was a Rushworth and Dreeper, or Rustwork and Scraper if you want. It was a nice little instrument. It fit the church very nicely, and it was very good at accompanying the choir, from the sound of it, not physically. The sound of it was very good at accompanying the choir. That was a grand time. And I was there for a few years until I decided to head over here. So yeah, very interesting kind of stuff. That's life, eh? That's my life so far. Now we're going to have a few more anecdotes, and we're going to fill them in with some music. But first of all, I'm going to have a look at the box office. Who's been at the box office this evening, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go and have a look. A huge thank you to our friend Klaus. Klaus. Yes, my friend Klaus. Oh, thank you very much, Klaus. Klaus sent me a package the other day. It arrived, and he sent me an email to let me know this was coming. And I had to laugh. I really had to laugh. I'll show you on Sunday. Thank you, Klaus. It has arrived. Thank you so much. And thank you for your ticket tonight. Thank you also to RTR, Richard, RTR. You know who you are. Thank you very much. That's very kind. And thank you to Monica. Thank you, Monica. Wonderful show, Fraser. Thank you. Thank you for your ticket, Monica. Very kind. And to Alexander. Thank you very much to Alexander. Now, over on the wish list, let's just see if anything's been happening over on there. Oh, something happened yesterday on the wish list. What's that? I haven't seen that yet. Oh, hello. What's that all about? Jeff Ford. Jeff Ford. Thank you to Jeff Ford. That is very kind for your ticket this evening, Jeff. And thank you to Kip, our good friend Kip from Iceland, who has been busy on the wish list. Thank you very much, Kip. And also a huge thank you to Bob. Bob was busy on the wish list yesterday. Oh, that's interesting. I put a new thing on the wish list yesterday. The future. Now, downstairs, over there, downstairs, I can almost see it from here. In the living room, there is, now you know this from some of my other videos, there is a white ratty-tatty grand piano. A piece of furniture that was bought by Vanessa many, many years ago as literally a piece of furniture. She never used it as a playing piano. Now, when I arrived in her life years later, I thought, oh, good heavens, she has a grand piano in the living room. How exciting. I then went to start playing it. It's awful. It's awful. Christchurch, that's the one. You're quite right, Ian. Well done. Absolutely awful thing. And over the years, I've tried to get it playing again. Well, I have now decided I'm going to start a new series of videos trying to repair, overhaul, make good the ratty-tatty piano. And to that end, we added some new things to the wish list there, including some piano tools, very useful for digging about inside pianos, and also a crazy piece of software, which I didn't think existed, but it turns out it's absolutely wonderful, that helps you tune not just a piano, any keyboard instrument, any stringed keyboard instrument, basically. Absolutely crazy stuff. I've got the test version of it at the moment that's running in the background. I've tried playing around with it. It's phenomenal. Now, the future of the channel, there's going to be not only some piano stuff coming up, there's going to be some other keyboard instrument stuff coming up. Now, these are instruments that used to be in a museum. And I'm going to be presenting these instruments in a rather gorgeous habitat, if I can find a rather gorgeous habitat for them. And I will be tuning them as well, preparing them for tuning. So it's very, very exciting stuff. Absolutely wonderful. I'm really looking forward to it. So there you are. So if you're interested in helping us out there, go and check it out. Now, yesterday, I think we're already halfway there on the software, actually, from the wish list. So go and check it out. And maybe you're interested in helping out with that. There are other things in the wish list as well. We are saving up at the moment for a mobile studio. When we go and visit churches to record, it's incredibly difficult and annoying to dismantle all of this stuff here. You can't see it. There's a huge camera there. There's a big camera there. There's a little camera down there, and so on and so on. And all the cables and all the electricity and all the rest of it. It's all beautifully routed here. And when I take it all apart to go and visit another church, it's a pain in the bum. Absolute pain in the bum. So we're saving up for a mobile studio, which will have start out with a couple of cameras, a little sort of switcher mixer thing, a few cables, and so on and so on. Now, we've already got all the audio equipment. I've got a huge recorder, I've got tons of microphones, all that's already there. So it's just the visual stuff from a root and a boot. Whoops. We've got lights on order. They were on the wish list. They're on order, which is rather nice. And they will hopefully be here very soon. And that will be great when we're out and about. Hold on, I might be telling lies there. I might be telling lies. Is that paid for? I think it is. Hold on, check it out on the wish list. Yes, I think it probably is. But yeah, there's some exciting stuff out there on the old wishy list. I've just noticed something's disappeared from the wish list. So hold on, what's going on there? What's going on there? It would appear my software has now been completely and utterly paid for. So thank you very much to Bob and Alexander for helping me out with that. That's absolutely amazing. Oh my God, thank you so much, you guys. That's absolutely stunningly amazing. Thank you. Wow. Right, let's go and get that studio sorted out then. And we're ready to go. Here's a piece of music from the back of the hymn book. A fun modern hymn. a silly piece of music there, which is actually an old hymn. Well, it's not that old. It's I don't know when it's from actually. It's called "Du hast uns deine Welt geschenkt." It's one of those hymns that does all sorts of crazy stuff. But yeah, nice. I like it. It works beautifully on this organ. Now, we have some requests tonight. So I think we better get them done. Oh look, I updated to iOS 26. I must admit, I'm not a fan yet. Will we get used to it? Who knows? Who cares? We will find out. Oh my goodness, even this looks weird and different. Is it going to synchronize is the big question. Yes, it is. It will synchronize. In you come. Brilliant. It's synchronized, but they haven't arrived. Brilliant. What a load of rubbish that is. No. Heh. Oh, hold on. Maybe I should. Ah, that's why it hasn't synchronized. Organic failure. That'll be me. Right, 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, what's this? That's more than I was expecting. 4 pieces of music requested this evening that are on the request list. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a sort of request page we have now. Sometimes, if you get a request in like during the concert, chances are it won't be played. And let me have a quick look. Nobody requested anything during the concert tonight. That's fine. At least not with tonight's date on it. So that's good. All right, so it's just the 3 we have there. Okay, and 4, there's another one that came in and we spotted. What are we going to start with? Let's start with a classical piece of music. Here is our French friend, Mr. Raffy, Louis Raffy, a composer we don't know very much about, at least I certainly don't. But our friend Nicholas, you know him under another name, has requested a piece of music that you could play during a service. Now, let's see what we're going to do here. We need a vox humana with a tremulant. So I suppose we could use this. Sorry, wrong one. That's a bit like one, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look. It's very gentle, very quiet. I think we need lots of 8-foot stops. Yeah, that'll do. And then we can add that and that when we need to. Okie dokie. Here's an élévation. Élévation. That's when during the mass the priest grabs the bread or the wine and sort of lifts it up and everyone goes, ooh, 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 I can see what's happening down there. And there's beautiful music to accompany it. And this was Louis Raffy's variation on that. What a cute piece of music. Thank you, Nicholas, for requesting that. That's a beautifully cute, lovely little piece of music. I love that. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Now, from the sublime to the completely ridiculous. I have no idea what this is all about. Apparently today is something like, what's it, sort of sound like a pirate day or some crap like that. Every day out there is the day for something. So apparently today is talk like a pirate days. So off you go and make roar sounds and be pirates. And we're going to play a silly piece of music called The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything. And this was requested by Bridget. So thank you, Bridget, for this bizarre request. And yeah, not very sure about this, but let's find out. Cheers. Arr. Talk like a pirate day. Okay, this could be rather weird. There are many pages to this. No, there aren't. Let me turn on my winky blinks. Is it still working? Although the update was there? Yes, it is. That's fine. Okay. We are the pirates who don't do anything. We just stay home and lie around. And if you ask us to do anything, we just tell you we don't do anything. Well, I've never been to Greenland, and I've never been to Denver, and I've never buried treasure in St. Louis or St. Paul, and I've never been to Moscow, and I've never been to Tampa, and I've never been to Boston in the fall, because we're the pirates who don't do anything, etc., etc., etc. It does sound like something from Monty Python, doesn't it? I have a feeling it's not quite as funny as Monty Python. We're the pirates who don't do anything. What a bizarre piece of music. I quite like that though, kind of cute. Sounds like a theme to a cheesy Western music. It does, doesn't it? It's because of the... It's that. that little harmonic move that does that. Talking of cheesy films, Jez mentioned it earlier as well. Now this was on the, believe it or not, on the old doodah for tonight. The amazing Mr. Robert Redford died the other day, and he was only 89. Now I thought Robert Redford would have been considerably older than that. The fact that he was only 89, I thought was quite amazing. But yeah, he sadly left us. One of the best actors that ever lived. And yeah, he was in so many wonderful films, including, of course, actually, no, we'll do that later. We'll do that later. But we're going to do this because it works quite nicely. Let's get some suitable... Actually, you know what? I think these registrations are going to work best again. Quite like those. Yeah, I like that. Right, let's get some wonderful old ragtime going. You know what this is. It's The Entertainer, to dear old Robert Redford. The Entertainer. Me! Yes, that's my job. Back to my little things. One of the things, back to That's Life, our theme for tonight. Back to that. One of the things I realized early on I could do. There we are, that's better. Thank you to the following people. Jez, thank you very much. The Sting, it says there. All right, well, it's called The Entertainer, isn't it? No man. Thank you very much. Who's this? Stefan. Thank you, Stefan, as well. 6 tickets this evening, folks. Come on, folks. Let's have some tickets or 2, please. Help us out with some tickets. That would be really kind. Don't forget, this is my full-time job these days. And without your help, I might as well pack it in. So, yeah, get your name read out live on YouTube TV every Friday, every Sunday. Fancy helping us out? I'd be very grateful. Thank you. What was I talking about? Oh yes, I realized early on in my musical career that I had a bit of a knack. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but I had a bit of a knack. I could use my music to entertain people, whether it was classical music, which was mainly what I did back in the early days, or fun jazzy stuff, or rocky poppy boogie stuff as well. It didn't matter what it was. I could use this to entertain people, and then I could tell little stories and people would laugh at those little stories and we could have fun together. And then one day I realized, and somebody told me this, I can't remember exactly when or where this was. I wish I could, because it was one of those moments in life when I thought, ooh, that's amazing. And I was playing alone. I was playing some concert alone. It was probably a theatre organ concert, but I can't remember. I suspect some grape juice had been consumed. I'm not sure. It may have been a piano concert. It may have been anything. I don't know. But all I remember is after the concert, this old guy, and he was, at the time, I wouldn't have been very old. I was maybe 19 or 20 at the time. And this old guy, who was probably my age now, he's probably in his 50s or something, he's probably my age now, he came up to me and he just said, "Thank you. I had a really shit day and I didn't want to come. But it was so entertaining. You've cheered me up. I've forgotten why I'd had such a shit day. Thank you." And then he wandered off. I never saw the guy again, but that made me sort of think, wow. Even if he'd been the only person there in the audience that night, that would have made it worthwhile. That would have made it worthwhile. So after that, I made it my sort of thing that no matter what or where I was playing, I would make sure I would try to find someone in the audience who was having a shit day. Find them. You can usually tell. You look through. It's this one, the one with a face like a badger's arse. That one. And you sort of look through the crowd, and then you can find and think, right, I'm concentrating on you tonight, mate, and I want a smile off that face when I leave this place, whatever it was. And it usually works. It usually works. Eventually, they cotton on. Oh, he's talking to me, and they all sort of disappear. You can see all the sort of the worry, the sorrow, the shitness, whatever it is. You can see it sort of disappearing, and then finally they just let go and enjoy themselves. And that is when I know I've done a really good job. It's difficult to do it here because all I can see is what you're writing. I can't see your faces, but obviously all of you come here in a wonderful mood, and 99.9% of you will always leave in a good mood, I hope. And if that's the case, then I've done a good job and I'm a happy bunny. Yes, a happy bunny indeed. Shall we play some more music? Yes, let's. Is our friend Gershie here with us tonight? Gershie, are you here? Manfred, are you here? If Manfred is here, would you like me to play on this organ, or would you like me to play on a theatre organ? Up to you. Up to you. There will be some theatre organ in a few minutes as well. Ian has taken the hint. I thought I had sent you some money, but looks like it didn't go through, so here we go again. Mwah. Thank you, Ian. Good sir. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. Matt Leach, always play to the badger's arse. There you are, Matt. I've given you a new code for your performances. Always play to the... You've got to find the badger's arse first, and then you play to them. And then you play to them. And you cheer them up. One claim to fame. I think I may have told my tuba people this this anecdote. I don't think I've ever told this one in general public before. But years ago, I was very, very fortunate. I got to work with the legendary, the wonderful Mr. Ray Charles, which was just phenomenally wonderful stuff. He was just beyond good in every possible way, musically speaking. He wasn't a very nice person to most of his people around him. I never had any problems with him, but I saw a lot of people have problems with him. But he was just a phenomenal musician, performer, and entertainer. And I watched him, and I think this is quite funny because he was obviously blind, so he couldn't do it himself. But before every concert, he would sneak in early, and he would have his manager guy, the guy with the amazing Don King hair, he would have his guy sort of watch the audience come in and say, right, found him, there's a bad-tempered guy there, there's a couple, they've had a fight, or there's a bunch, they're too drunk to know what they're doing. And Ray would say, all right, where are they? He'd say, right, well, when you're sitting at your keyboard, if you're in the middle of the stalls area, just ever so slightly to the left, but in the middle as you look out. And of course, Ray couldn't see anything, but he would visualize where these people were. And through his dark glasses and his entertainment, he would do the same thing. He would find the badger's arse and then play to the badger's arse. It was wonderful watching it. And, you know, I'd already kind of, you know, done that thing myself, and it was just amazing to see the way he did it. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolute madness, really. Wonderful stuff. Has our friend Gershwin answered yet? He hasn't. Is he even here? Do you know? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't think he is. I'll tell you what, if he's not here, then I won't play it tonight. We'll play it on Sunday for him, okay? He has a rather lovely request, but we'll play it on Sunday. Because it is nice, and I want him to be there. So if he's not, then I'll do it on Sunday. I'll keep an eye on that there. Yeah. In that case, day for organ time. What do you think of this organ? I should use this more often, shouldn't I? Sveta Lipka. It's Sveta. I'm not sure how you pronounce that at all. The Lipka part is probably correct. Marek said 50% was correct, so I'm guessing it's the Lipka part, but the Sveta, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I'm not very good at sort of any Polish or any kind of, you know, that kind of language. So it'd be good if I knew. But it's a wonderful instrument, isn't it? Should we play it more often? I think we should. I really think we should. And talking of organs, we should play more often. Let's go back to, we'll go back to the Morton tonight. I'm in a Morton mood tonight. The Morton mood is a good one tonight. Now, we're going to have some Gershwin. The Gershie, I was hoping would be here, but he's not. So let's go with the Gershwins. And let's have this rather beautiful piece of music from, do you know, I'm not sure when this was written. It might be 1930. It might be 1930. 29 or 30. You probably recognize this. Made famous by lots of people. Beautiful piece of music. Embrace me, embraceable you. I love that piece of music. It's gorgeous. No Bach tonight. That would be correct, Robert. There will be no Bach tonight. Not even any Max Reger. Not even any Max Reger either. No. Shall we bop about to a key, a minor key? Back in the day of the Tin Pan Alley days, when tunes were being written in offices in New York, 42nd Street and all that kind of stuff. All these piano or music publishing offices were composing tunes by the thousands every day. And absolute madness was happening all the time. And invariably, it would be 2 or 3 guys sitting in an office with a piano, lots of cigarettes, lots of whiskey, and some manuscript paper. And they would throw out the tunes. And eventually, they would run out of ideas for the tunes. So they would take old religious tunes. And the funny thing is, most of these guys, we're talking old Jewish guys here. So they would have all these old tunes that they had from the temple. As if, yeah, we could do that, we could use that. Nobody knows that, only we know that. We could write that down. Yeah, that's it. So they took these old religious melodies and turned them into jazz tunes. Now, some of them, if you have an old jazz tune in a minor key that modulates to all sorts of funny places in the middle, then chances are it's an old Yiddish tune. This is a perfect example of that. Allegedly, the people who composed this were called Williams and Palmer. Those were not their real names. They'd probably have been called something like Cohen and Rosenberg. But this is a wonderful piece of music called Everybody Loves My Baby. Or when I used to sing in jazz bands, I used to sing Every Baby Loves My Body. Everybody loves my baby. Now, to show you what I'm talking about, here's a very similar sounding piece of music called I've Found a New Baby. And it's pretty much the same tune, but a different middle bit. Practically the same tune, just the middle bit is different. Isn't that cute? Cute stuff. Right, a couple of tunes and then we're going to finish for now. What's that? Rodgers and Hart. Are we interested in Rodgers and Hart? Nah, I'm not in the mood for that. I think we'll have some more Gershwin. Check this out. fascinating rhythm. I think to finish off this piece of music, this concert this evening, That's Life. I'm not going to play That's Life by Frank Sinatra because we're going to get copyright claims. And we're going to get copyright claims anyway, but they're going to be for things like the Dubois Toccata, the Gigoux Toccata. Composers who've been dead for 1,000,000 years. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for being in the old chit-chat there. Thank you for your tickets on the way past. Thank you for helping us out on the wish list. Oh, Jeff's been on the wish list as well. Thank you, Jeff, on the wish list. Jeff, your new hip is... it's causing you to open your wallet. One of my old favourite jokes from the Goon Show. Open your wallet and repeat after me. Help yourself. I think that's wonderful. So anyway, yes, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been fun tonight. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. See you on Sunday for Sunday night as Organ Music Night. And yeah, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Let me entertain you. There you are. Robbie Williams said that years ago. And I just said it as well. So have a good weekend. If you're in this part of the world, Saturday is going to be the final nice day of, well, the season, it would appear. It's going to be a nice warm and sunny day tomorrow. And then from Sunday it's going to be crap again, so that's good. That means Sunday night you can all be here and we can enjoy the crap together. Let's finish with a piece of music called Fidgety Feet. Fidgety feet. I've got fidgety feet tonight. I need to go for a bit of a walk with the dog to to burn some of these calories off. I had a huge amount of food today. I really overdid it. Fidgety feet. Get dancing, folks. See you on Sunday. Night, night.